Hello friends, my name is Michelle Fondin and I'm an author and speaker, and welcome to my YouTube channel. This is another video on twin flames in the twin flame playlist, and this one I'm sure you guys are waiting for. It's 14 signs that you've met your twin flame. And this is stemmed from my personal experience, of course things I've read, things I've heard on other videos, but this is mostly my personal experience. And of course there are other signs. I picked 14 as the top 14 for me that I personally experienced. And I'm sure you guys as twins have had other experiences included as well, but these are really kind of like the top 14, and 14 already is a lot of signs. So we're gonna just delve right into this, and I'm gonna give my personal experience, of course not giving too much detail. I'm a divine feminine in a feminine body. My twin flame is a divine masculine in a masculine body, which, as I explained in the other two videos, isn't always the case. Of course there can be men who are divine feminine and women who are divine masculine, and same-sex couples, and it all is okay. So in my case, my twin flame is a divine masculine in a masculine body. So the first sign that you've met your twin flame is instant recognition. Instant recognition is almost like, I know this person, but it's not like I know this person like, hey, I've met you before. It's more like this inner knowing that you actually do know this person and you have no idea why. You're like, why do I know this person? Why is this person so important in my life that this person is going to be important in my life? And you just know it. Like you have this inner knowing and this instant recognition of this person as someone who's going to be really, really important in your life. And you have no clue or no idea why. You may have just even like seen the person across a room. And as you saw this person across a room, you just had this inner knowing, like, I know this person. I know them. They're going to be really important in my life. And I just know who they are. It's that instantaneous recognition of that person. Now, in my case, with my twin flame meeting, is that I felt so comfortable around him and I had no idea why. I was like, and I even was asking myself, like, why do I feel like I want to be just next to him? Like, I just wanted to be next to him and in close proximity to him. And I was like, well, is this just a guy thing? Like, I'm attracted to this guy, so it's just that. Like, I just want to be close to him. But it wasn't even that. It wasn't even initially like a romantic attraction or a sexual attraction initially. Initially, it was just like a feeling of comfort. Like, I just need to be near him. I want to be in the same room as him. I want to be next to him. I want to sit next to him. I want to sit in close proximity to him. I've got to be near him. And it was just this bizarre feeling of just needing to be near him, needing to be next to him. So it was this instant recognition of just like, I need to be near this person. I need to be with this person. And it wasn't even initially, like I said, in a romantic sense. It wasn't even like, oh, I'm really attracted to him. It wasn't that at all. At all, it was just like, like I just need to be near him. I need to be close to him. I need to feel in close proximity to him. And I had no clue why. It was the most bizarre, strange feeling ever. And so that just like escalated into this curiosity about who he was and like, who is this person? What is he like? Like what? And so I began to like ask myself questions and ask him questions. And it was just like so interesting how it totally unfolded. And actually our first conversation of all things, it was about marriage, and it wasn't even our marriage. It was just like the topic of marriage in general, which is kind of weird. In hindsight, it wasn't so weird, but at the time it was a little bit strange. But what was interesting is that his recognition, almost in his eyes, I could tell like his recognition upon that conversation was almost like a recognition of a connection that we had that I hadn't even seen yet. Like I had not recognized it yet, even though like I had this feeling, this intense feeling of like needing to be close to him, needing to sit near him, needing to be with him, and have no idea why. I didn't know why. So the second sign you have met your twin flame is physical attraction, but probably not your type at first. So this is a really, really, really common one in twin flame relationships. Now, there are two different types typically that play out in twin flame relationships. One is a twin flame that looks exactly like you do, or very, very close to the way you look physically. So they could almost look like a brother or sister to you, meaning like your facial features are similar, your hair color is similar, your eye colors are similar, your body type is similar, like everything about you is twin-like in quality. And then there's another type of twin flame in which the person shatters your paradigm of what you're actually attracted to as a person. And so, like, let's say you like someone who has blonde hair and blue eyes, and then all of a sudden this person has like brown hair and dark eyes, and you're like, I'm never attracted to that type of person. Or for example, if you're a dude who's like only attracted to women who are like really tiny and petite and like short, small in stature, and then all of a sudden you meet this woman who is like 6'3", and you're like, that totally blows my entire paradigm of any woman I've ever been attracted to. And so in my case, my twin flame did not fit into the paradigm of the man I was typically attracted to, because it was always one specific type. Like I had a specific type of person that I was always attracted to. And he, while he's a very beautiful man, he does not fit into that paradigm. He didn't fit into that paradigm. And so when I started to feel that attraction to him after the initial like instant recognition, I started to feel that attraction to him after we started having conversations together, I was just like, this can't happen because he doesn't fit into my paradigm. Like he doesn't fit into the paradigm of the person that I'm used to dating or the person that I'm used to being with. And so I didn't allow myself to like fall into an attraction for him, even though I knew I had it. Like I didn't let myself at first fall into that attraction with him because I was like, oh, he doesn't fit my paradigm. And so in twin flame relationships, typically, the twin flame relationship is designed to help you shatter all of your paradigms. And so like, let's take the instance in which the physical attraction or the physical chemistry is like your type, but it's also someone who mirrors you, someone who looks exactly like you or very close to exactly like you. That could mean that like what you need to learn in that paradigm is that you need to learn to love and accept yourself for the way that you look. And so someone is constantly mirroring back to you the way you look because you're looking at a twin flame who is exactly looking like you. And so that might mean what you need to accept, if that makes sense. And so in the case where the twin flame is not typically someone who you're physically attracted to as a paradigm, meaning like we're typically always attracted to the same type of person, the paradigm that you need to like shatter just might be something totally different. It could just mean something different of like, oh, there's something in this person that I normally wouldn't date because A, B, or C, right? So like, for example, let's take the example of the man who only dates like blonde hair, blue-eyed women. Maybe like, for example, like their mother's blonde hair, blue-eyed, and then like they didn't get along with their mother. And so like now their twin is blonde hair, blue-eyed because they have to shatter this paradigm of this relationship of like blonde hair, blue-eyed women means that I don't get along with them because I didn't get along with my mother. So that's just an example of like shattering your entire paradigm. So that's number 2. Number 3 is heart chakra activation or heart palpitations or intense jitteriness around your twin flame. Okay, guys. This one can happen like, you know, the butterflies in the stomach when you meet someone new and you're falling in love and you have your first dates and it feels so nice. This is something way more intense, and it's something that I have never experienced before in the same way. So of course I've fallen in love with other people. I've had like the butterfly feeling, like the jitteriness a little bit, like the little nervousness and everything. This is something out of this world crazy where I could be next to my twin flame and literally feel my heart pounding out of my chest for no specific reason. Like no reason other than close proximity to my twin flame. That was it. Like I was just like, what in the world is happening? Like, what is happening? And this intense jittery feeling like I just drank like 6 cups of coffee. like this intense jittery feeling around my twin flame, just again in close proximity to him and into his energy field. And I don't know if he felt the same thing. I'm sure he has felt similar feelings, even though he might not acknowledge it. But it's that intense physical reaction to being in the energy field of your twin. And it's like, once he is in my energy field, I start to feel that, and then it's just crazy. So what that has been explained to me as is like the heart chakra activation, that when you meet your twin, it's like this recognition for your heart chakra, and it's kind of like opening it up to receive the energy of your twin. Because you are one soul divided into two, it's kind of like a coming home where the soul is finding its place again within your heart, and then your soul is finding its place within your twin's heart. And if they're open to receiving it. So not all twins have that instant knowingness that they need to be open to receiving it, because sometimes their heart has a lot of healing to do. So healing from past relationships, healing from their childhood, healing from past lives. So a lot of times the other twin will take some time to have that heart chakra recognition, but the work that's happening to open up the heart chakra is happening in both twins simultaneously. It just maybe felt more intensely by one than the other initially. So for me, it was felt super intensely, and I had no idea what was going on, and it felt very strange to me because it almost felt out of control. Like it felt like, wow, like what is happening in my body? And it was just, like I said, if he would come into close proximity to me, it would start to happen. And I think he read it, he knew it, he knows it actually, because he had said some things to me in the past where he felt like this energy, and I think he thought it was like sexual energy, and it very well may have been, but I know that he felt what I was feeling, and I said maybe at a lesser intensity than what I was feeling. So there you go. Number 4 is an intense longing to be with them. So like I mentioned in the instant recognition in number 1, and number 4 is like this intense longing to be with them without any specific explanation. So just like I said, like when I had the instant recognition of my twin, I just had this longing just to be near him, to be in the same room as him, to like sit near him, to just be in his presence without understanding why. Like I didn't understand why I need to be near this person, and it wasn't like I knew him. I barely knew him. And it was just this feeling of like intense longing that I need to be with this person. I need to be near this person. And along with the intense longing also comes this intense knowingness. And so this kind of goes along with heightened intuition, but it's this intense knowingness that there's a need for us to be together, and I'm not sure why. So it's this, not only this longing, but this knowingness that we need to be together. And your other twin is also feeling it. So as I mentioned in my other video about the definitions of like runner chaser, and I mentioned that, and in the next video, we're going to do why a twin flame has a tendency to run. And in that video on runner chaser, or the definitions on runner chaser, I said it's usually the divine masculine who's running. And there's a reason for that, because of the energy that's the yang energy versus the yin energy. And so the divine masculine is going to feel this intense longing to be with you, the divine feminine, too, if he in fact is the runner. But at the same time of this intense longing to be with you, the feelings are so incredibly intense that he doesn't know what to do with that energy. He has no idea what to do with that energy, but he just know that even if you feel this intense longing to be with your twin flame, if you're the divine feminine, the divine masculine also has this intense longing to be with you. He just doesn't know what to do with it. He doesn't know what to do with that energy. Number 5 is a huge one for twin flames, and this is usually the telltale sign that it's a twin flame relationship versus a karmic relationship or a soulmate relationship. And you know, karmic and soul relationships can be, soulmate relationships can be one and the same. A karmic relationship is usually like you've got a lot of karma to work out between the two of you. And a soulmate relationship it can be really an intense soul connection too. But usually you guys are having to work out stuff together that is past life stuff, is stuff from your childhood. It's usually really painful. And this isn't, I'm not going to say that this isn't painful too, but a lot of it is self-work, and because a lot of it is self-work, it feels different. It's just a different feeling altogether. So the 5th one is at least 1 or 2 huge obstacles or challenges. So most twin flame pairs, most twin flame relationships encounter at least 1 or 2, usually 2 huge obstacles that they have to overcome. And they're usually external societal obstacles as well as maybe relationship obstacles that they have to overcome in order to be together in physical union. And so one of those is the age gap. So most twin flames, in which I was so surprised in learning this that I actually did not know this prior to meeting my twin flame and prior to falling for my twin flame, is that I didn't know about the age gap. Consequently, there is an age gap between us, so I did not know about that, and most twin flames actually have a very large age gap between them. So usually it's between 10 to 12 years of gap in age. And whether that's the divine masculine or the divine feminine who is older, it's usually the case. And according to one of my friends who is also on YouTube, who does twin flame videos, he mentioned that typically the divine masculine is younger than the divine feminine. So whether you're a male or female, the divine masculine tends to be younger than the divine feminine. So that's one obstacle, the age gap. Another gap is differences in religious beliefs. So like one of you might be Jewish, one might be Muslim, one might be Christian, one might be Buddhist, and not that that in and of itself could cause problems for the twin flame connection, but it might cause problems in the families for the twin flame connection. So maybe because of the upbringing and the dogma and the rules and the regulations, there might be some problems with the religious backgrounds and beliefs. Another one would be different cultural backgrounds for the same reason, where let's say you're Korean and your parents only want you to marry someone who's Korean, and then you meet an Irish boy and you're like, I gotta marry this Irish boy because this is my twin flame connection. I feel this intense energy, this intense attraction and connection to them. So that could be an obstacle. Already in a romantic relationship with someone else, this happens a lot. So whether you are already in a relationship, whether you're coming out of a relationship, whether you're married to another person, that is also an issue in twin flame relationships. So in my case, and I'm an intuitive, as you guys know, and I'm empathic and psychic. I don't like using the word psychic. I don't know, it just sounds weird, but I am. I am psychic and intuitive and empathic. And when I first met my twin and we had our first conversation together, I was really, really super duper confused because I did feel this intense attraction to him and this intense connection to him. And I didn't know what it was. I wasn't sure if it was a romantic connection, if it was a sexual connection, if it was something more than friend connection. Like I really didn't know. I didn't know what to expect from this connection. I just knew that it was super duper intense. Like I just felt it right away. I know he felt it right away. It was this intense, intense, intense connection that we felt. And I literally went home that night and I asked my angels and I said, what is this? What is this? And immediately I got like soulmate, wedding, marriage. I was like, what? No. And that was my first reaction. My first reaction was no. And the reason my first reaction was no was because I was in love with somebody else. I had been in a long-term relationship with somebody else, even though we were separated at the time. I was like, no, guys, angels, you've got this wrong. This is really confusing to me. Like, I'm already in love with somebody else. This can't be. Like, this is not real. I don't know what you guys are talking about. My angels knew what they were talking about. The divine always knows. The divine always knows. And the divine is never wrong. Never, ever, 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 ever wrong. So that was clearly one of our obstacles too, is me being in love with somebody else and wanting it to work out with this other person. So that was one of our obstacles. Work issues is another obstacle. So maybe you guys are working together and you're not able to date together or something like that. Also addictions, and I didn't mention this prior, but addictions are sometimes the division or the obstacle that you guys have to overcome. And a long distance relationship, being across 2 different countries, 2 different continents. Maybe one of you is on one side of the country, the other is on the other side of the country. Those are the couple of obstacles that seem to crop up. And there are usually 2. It's usually like 2 huge things, like huge obstacles that you really need to overcome. Number 6 is outstanding, out of this world sex. Yes. Is there any more to say about that, guys? Do I really have to go into detail about this? Okay, so sex with your twin flame. Okay, we're not going to get all, crazy on this one. I'm talking about your twin flame relationship. Sex with your twin flame is something that, how should I say this? It's something that is so intense and so out of this world, crazy, amazing, that it's something that you've never experienced before because you are connecting on every single solitary level. Now, of course, lovemaking and sex in a relationship that is loving and caring, you do have soul connection. You do have a connection to each other. And you do have this intense passion and love for each other. But twin flame sex is a whole other ball game, you guys. It's like that instantaneous recognition again. So it all goes back to that instantaneous recognition of knowing this person, knowing what they like, knowing how they're going to react, understanding what they want. Like, it's just, and you could have never been together ever before. And it's just this mind-blowing experience that you've never had before. And this extreme intensity that you've never had before. And so that's a sign of a twin flame relationship. Number 7. Okay, this one, you guys, I thought it was going totally crazy. Unexplainable emotional release when you see the person or you see a picture of the person. This is really super duper twin flame-like, if you will, that your heart chakra is opening, and it's opening its wounds, and it's opening to love, to unconditional love, and it's opening up from past hurt, and it's opening up in so many incredible ways. And it's also like opening up to the longing that maybe you've been searching for your whole entire life, that feeling of belonging, that feeling of home, that feeling of connection that you've been searching for your whole entire life. That when you see your twin or when you see a picture of your twin, it's really, really normal to just start crying uncontrollably for no specific reason. And to start crying uncontrollably with no happiness and no sadness necessarily. It's just an emotional release. It's just like your heart is awakening, your spirit is recognizing its twin, its other half, it's home. It's really home because it's your 2 souls that are merging together as one again after all this time of separation. It's just like, wow, finally. So it's kind of like a breathe of a sigh of relief, like finally, this is it. Like finally, whew, finally we're together. And even if you're not in union on the physical, you're always in union in the spiritual world. But it's like now that you've met your twin, it's like the reality coming into the physical is even closer than ever to coming into actual reality. So this happened this has happened to me over the course of several months, where even if I see my twin in person and then like I'm away from them and then I have the realization that I just spent a few moments with them or spent time with them or just saw them or talked to them, it was very frequent where I would have like an emotional release immediately after. I would just start crying for no apparent reason. It was just that emotional release of recognition. It was that emotional release of like, whew, oh my God, like this is the person, this is my soul, this is my heart, this is it. And it happens at the weirdest times, but it also happens frequently. And I don't know, I mean, I haven't been in the twin flame connection long enough to know if those releases do stop. I don't know, I'm not sure. But I will tell you that it's been close to a half a year, I guess. And it still happens. It definitely still happens. So emotional release. Number 8, immense feelings of unconditional love for your twin flame, even if you do not know them. All right, so this is sign number 8 that you've met your twin flame. Immense feelings of unconditional love. Immense, like we are talking about unexplainable, unadulterated, like crazy amounts of unconditional love for this person. And you have no clue why. And it can make you feel like you're crazy. It can make you feel like a lot of these things can make you feel like you're going crazy because so much of it is happening on a spiritual level, and that's coming into the actual physical plane and like kind of trickling down into the physical plane, that it defies all logic. It defies all reason. It defies all parameters of normal relationships. It defies all timelines of normal relationships. It defies everything you've ever learned, everything you've ever seen, and everything that you have ever experienced. So all of us know about love at first sight. Like all of us have heard of love at first sight. Maybe you've experienced love at first sight. Love at first sight is like this instant connection to another person where you do have feelings of love for them. That's love at first sight. This is unconditional love and unconditional acceptance for this person, whether you're with them or not. And it's just this unexplainable outpouring of love for them. And it's almost like it doesn't matter if I'm with them. It doesn't matter if I'm not with them. It doesn't matter if they love me. It doesn't matter if they don't love me. I have an immeasurable amount of love for them. And that is totally twin flame. It's totally twin flame sign. And it's just like, it's almost overwhelming how much you love this person. And it's overwhelming of how much you accept them and embrace them, and you just want to like hug them and hold them and just bring them into your space because you have such immense love for them. And in every scenario, in this, like I said, guys, it's usually before you even know them, in any way. You just have this intense feeling of unconditional love for them. Number 9, increased coincidences and synchronicities. I'm going to qualify this and say where you will see your twin in unexpected places and circumstances. So the coincidences and synchronicities don't have to be isolated to that specific example. I'm just giving you example. What has happened in my twin flame connection with my twin is that we will see each other or bump into each other in unexpected circumstances and places. So it's almost like, how could I explain this? It's almost like my angels and guides will kind of be like, don't go here, like take a turn here and go into here, and it'll be, my twin flame will be there. And we'll just like kind of bump into each other and see each other. Or I'll have, and this goes with like the telepathy or the psychic abilities, but this has happened so often, you guys, is that seconds before something happens, like I'll bump into him or see him, or he'll text me, or something will happen where I know like seconds before that I'm actually going to see him or run into him, or what he might text me. Like I knew it. This happened like 2 or 3 times where like I knew exactly what he was going to say to me. And this is like before even knowing this person well. But I just knew, like I knew what he was going to say to me. I knew what he was going to text me, or I knew I was going to bump into him. And so these are your angels and guides, like guiding you guys together, like bringing you two together in the same space, because it's necessary for you guys to be together in the same space in order to like activate each other. So what you're doing is you're activating that heart chakra, you're activating your energy fields, you're activating your souls to come together. And even though one of the two parties might be resistant to this connection, your angels and guides are working in overdrive and overtime to get you two together, to get you guys together in the same space. And so it's not that you have to try to do anything necessarily. You just have to listen to your angels and guides, and they will bring you guys together. So it's like totally, totally amazing how this happens. Number 10. Number 10, telepathic communication. This is something that I explained this in the other video, but it's something that can happen in other relationships, but it really starts to ignite. It intensifies with the twin flame connection. So what I have noticed with my twin flame is that we can just look into each other's eyes, and like I can tell what he's thinking, and I'm certain he can tell what I'm thinking at given times. Like there are just times when he can just give me a look and I'll know, or I'll give him a look and he knows, and we just have this knowing between us. And I can read his feelings like there's no tomorrow. Like I can read him, and I know he can read me in so many ways, even though he would probably not want to admit it, that he can read me as well as he can. But also like telepathic communication, like via before texting or before a call, or before seeing each other, or even just like this non-verbal communication that happens with your twin flame. There's so much more understanding going on. There's so much more communication going on, that like one time when we were telepathically communicating and like non-verbally communicating, and so much was going on, and we really didn't say anything to each other except for like trivialities and other things. But like he felt my communication, I felt his communication, and at the end of the day, like he texted me something like, what are you doing? Like, what are you doing to me? You know, and I was like, what are you doing to me? But it was just that like non-verbal communication, that telepathic communication that was like totally ignited in our story. And that happens so much in twin flame stories. 11 is increased psychic abilities. So along with telepathy, along with heightened intuition, comes these increased psychic abilities where you're able to see into the future, where you're able to feel into the future, and where you're able to predict outcomes and understand and see things. And this is something that is a development that is happening. And it's so interesting to see this unfold. And I will tell you that this has unfolded in my twin flame relationship. Again, to be protective of him and his integrity. And like, I don't want to divulge or reveal things that he has told me because it's not fair to him. And if he's ever willing and ready to do videos with me at some point, then that would be awesome that he could tell you those things himself. But let me just tell you that it is real, guys. It is real. So continuing on, number 12, an intuitive knowing that this is your twin and that you are meant to be together. This one is follow your own intuition, guys. Follow your own intuition. So how in the world do you follow your own intuition? Like seriously, put your hands on your heart space, get into a quiet place and meditate. Don't listen to the external voices. Do not listen to other people. Don't listen to other bloggers or vloggers about this. Don't listen to your sister, your brother, your best friend, your mother, your father. Nobody really understands a twin flame connection unless if you're another twin flame, like unless if you're a twin flame couple, you have no idea what it's like unless if you've been there and experienced it. So just put your hands on your heart, breathe into your heart space, and like feel this person, like feel your twin flame that you've met, and like feel, does it feel right? Does it feel like home? Does it feel like you know that you're supposed to be with this person, this inner knowing? And it's not based on anything that anybody has told you. It's not based on anything this person has told you. It's not based on anything that you've read. It's only based on what you feel in that inner knowingness. So for me personally, after I did my angel reading that initial day when we first had our first conversation, and I was like, you know, resistant to it, and I said no, and I then had more encounters with him, and I figured out my feelings, and I was like, oh my gosh. And I surrendered to it because I knew, and I even knew that day that I had read into that reading and the day that I had that first conversation with him, I knew, and I know he knew before I knew. I know he knew, and I would be so interested. He's probably not going to watch this video maybe several months down the road when we're in physical union, but I know he knew. I know for a fact that he knew. I know he knew, and I know he knew before me. I am so certain, 100% certain that he knew before I knew. He knew. And it's just, you know. You just know. You know, like this is my person. This is my twin flame. And even if you don't know the vocabulary, if you're like, I don't know this vocabulary twin flame, so that doesn't make sense to me, but I know that he is my person, and I know that we're meant to be together forever, and I just know this, and I knew it, and I known it, like, and it's unwavering. It's not like one day you wake up and you're like, oh, maybe we're meant to be together, and another day you wake up and you're like, oh, maybe we're not meant to be together. And that usually happens in soulmate relationships or karmic relationships where you're on the fence. You're not sure. Like one day when you're having a good day, you're like, yeah, this is my person. And another day when you're having a bad day, you got into a fight with this person. You're like, no, this person is not my person. But with a twin flame, you have a knowingness. And you just know. You just know. Like you know beyond a shadow of a doubt. You have zero doubt. You have zero like trepidation. And you might have a trepidation in getting together because of those intense feelings and because of the mirroring of the feelings and because it's something so out of this world and so intense and crazy because you have all these obstacles to overcome that you might not feel like, oh, we can connect now. It's not like, oh, we can do this. We can overcome all obstacles. It's kind of like there is this trepidation about overcoming all the obstacles that you have to get together, but it's this knowing that you will be. It's just this knowing that like, I know we're going to be together. That's it. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. There is no doubt. It's zero doubt. You know, you have this inner knowing. Now, whether you admit the inner knowing or not is up to you. Because for me, remember in the beginning, I didn't believe it even though I knew. I didn't think it was going to happen. I didn't think it was supposed to happen. I thought it was supposed to happen with another person. And even though I knew, like I knew that my twin is the person I'm destined to be with and is the person I'm supposed to be with and is the person I will be with, period. Like there is no more. Like it's like, period, that's it. So listen to your intuition about that. And even if that other person is running from you and scared of you and saying like, we just want to be friends and like all the crap that goes on in the runner-chaser dynamic, it's like, you know, like you just know, and you know that you know, and you know the other person knows too. Like the other person totally knows. They're just running from it, or they're afraid of it, or they're hesitant, or they're trepidatious about how it's all going to work out. But the other thing is that and this is something I read and something I totally believe, is that I talk about the soul contracts before you guys even came here. You have a soul contract with your twin, and you guys have worked out everything in this soul contract to fulfill your soul contract with this person. And usually the soul contract has nothing to do with your actual relationship, but it has something to do with like transforming and changing the world together. So because you guys have a soul contract that you need to fulfill together, everything for your union is in that soul contract. So every single solitary obstacle that you guys have to overcome is also written in that soul contract with your twin flame. So don't worry about it. And I know we have a tendency to worry, and I have had a tendency to worry too, but just know that everything that you guys need to work through to get into union in this physical world is already written out in your soul contract. So there's nothing to worry about. Like, you have this knowing, you know you're going to be with this person, you know you're supposed to be together, you know you are going to be together. Everything you need to be worked out to be together is in that soul contract. And it'll fulfill itself. It'll come to fruition. It's going to happen. So there you go. That was number 12. Number 13, you will see angel numbers everywhere. What are angel numbers? I'm sure you've heard of angel numbers like 1111, 333, 444, 111. For me, I didn't even realize that this was an angel number that I was seeing, even though it is the angel number. But it was a coach that pointed it out to me. When I met my twin, I had no idea how old he was. No clue. He doesn't necessarily look his age, so I really had no idea how old he was. And I don't know why I was even obsessing about it, but I really didn't know. I didn't know how old he was, but I kept seeing inside my head space the number 44. Every time I would see him, every time I'd think about him, I would see the number 44. So I was convinced that he was 44 years old. And so I was just like, oh, the reason I'm seeing and hearing and feeling the number 44 is because he's 44. That would make sense, right? And so I was super duper convinced before I found out how old he was. I was super convinced that he was 44. And later on, when I got a coaching session, my coach said, you know, 44 is actually the twin flame number. And it's also an angel number. It's an intense angel number. But he said it was the twin flame number. And I'm like, oh, okay. So my angels were showing me 44 every single time my twin flame showed up in my life in those initial couple of weeks or 2 to 3 weeks, because they were giving me the sign, this is your twin flame, this is your twin flame, this is your twin flame, even though I really didn't even know what a twin flame was at that time. Like I had heard the word, but I didn't know what it was. So I was like, oh, okay, that makes sense. My angels were sending me messages that this is your twin flame, this is your twin flame, hello, this is your twin right here. He's right in front of you, he's here. And I was thinking that it was about his age, which he's not 44. There you go. You'll see angel numbers everywhere. Literally on the clock, you'll see 333, 444, 555, 1111, 111. As you look up at billboards, you'll see 111, 222, like insane. Everywhere you look, you will see them. That is another sign that you've met your twin flame. Number 14 is, are you ready? This is the last one we're gonna go over today, guys. Your connection gets more intense even in separation. This is a really, really, really important one, guys. And this is an important distinction between a twin flame relationship and another relationship. We're not talking about brother, sister, mother, father relationship. We're talking about twin flame relationship versus like another romantic relationship. Your connection to your twin will grow and get more intense over time. You guys will feel more connected, more intense energy, more twin flame energy, if you will. You will feel more drawn to this person, more magnetically attracted to this person as time goes on, even if you're in separation. So if you are a twin who is invested in this relationship, meaning that you already have the knowing, you know you're twin, you know you're supposed to be together, you know about all of this energy, you know that your soul is found in this other person, that your souls merging together is what's necessary for the evolution of the planet. Even as you know this, you're going to feel the more intense energy. But guess what? Your twin, who might be in separation from you and who might be running from you, separated from you with the intention of, oh, this is just another relationship. This is just another fling. This is just another person that I kind of fell for. If I'm separate from her, if I'm separate from him, this is just going to go away. And lo and behold, what they discover is, nope. It doesn't just go away. What they discover, and they think they're going crazy, is that I've been separated from this person now for a few months, and it just keeps getting stronger and stronger and more intense and stronger, and I want to be with them more and more and more and more and more. So that is the major difference between other romantic relationships and twin flame relationships, is that the feelings do not fade over time. The feelings do not get less intensity over time, that the feelings in separation get, actually, for the runner usually, they get more obsessive over time, meaning that the runner, especially because the person who's not running has made peace with the situation typically, like they've typically started to make peace, because if you're not making peace, you're not doing your work. And so honoring your inner knowing and honoring your intuition means you're at peace, meaning like, I know we're going to be together. It's not a big deal. Like when they come around, they come around. But for the person who's running and they're actively trying to stay away from you and they're actively trying not to see you, their feelings are getting more and more and more and more and more intense and obsessive, and they feel like they're going nuts because it's shattering their paradigm of what relationships should look like. Because for them, when you're separated from a person, your feelings should get less intense, not more intense. So that's what happens in a twin flame relationship. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope this clarifies your twin flame connection. And please leave comments below and share your stories about your twin flame connection with me, and what signs were really super duper apparent to you first. I'd love to hear that. Or if there are other signs that are really, really apparent in your twin flame connection that I left out here. I just tried to give my top 14, and I picked the number 14 because Valentine's Day is coming up, guys. And even though it can feel lonely if you're in physical separation with your twin flame, just know that you guys are always, always, always in union in the spiritual realm. So again, thanks for joining me. Please subscribe to my channel below, hit the bell button to get notifications of my new videos, and share with other twin flames that you know of in your community, on any Facebook page, or somebody else who you know is a twin, either in union or in separation with their twin flame. And thank you for pledging your support on Patreon, www.patreon.com/Michelle S. Fondin, and I will see you in the next video.